Platinum Mike Perry, there he is. Hello, Mike. How are you? You look fantastic. The swelling has gone down. You look great.
Yeah, what's up, my brother? It's good to be here, man.
It's good to talk to you. Congratulations on the win. How do you feel 48 hours, less than 48, 36 hours removed from that fight?
I feel great. I was listening to what you were saying about Ryan Garcia, cut him a break. I saw some post, some boxer was saying, Brian did it in 8. I could have done it in 2. And I'm like, with McGregor easily picked Eddie apart in the boxing, but you got to take in the aspect that like Eddie learned from that, and he knew he was coming into a boxing fight, and he prepared for it properly. And he had this one guy on his team that I'm assuming was a sparring partner, and he said he sparred with heavyweights, and he hit them and hurt them with shots. And the guy on his team looked like Canelo's twin, and we were making jokes about that. And what I was gonna say was, Conor picked him apart, and I got hit a few times. I kind of let myself get into some action there, but I did it faster. Conor did it in like 7.5 minutes. I did it in 4.
Yes, it was very impressive. What were you thinking after that first round? Because I thought he won the first round, and I think your corner did as well, and the broadcast as well. What were you thinking, and what was going on in that first round? Why was he having so much success?
Shout out to Coach JT, my coach from Technique Boxing. He got my brain thinking. I think with the size discrepancy with Luke Rockhold and me, I was a little smaller. I was a little able to be faster and dodge some shots. And I warmed up, I think, a lot harder on the walkout for Luke Rockhold. They made me walk really slow, and I shadow boxed really hard. And my warm-ups were kind of up and down on this one. Like I would get hot and I felt really powerful. And I mean, I brought the pressure, and the reason I was getting touched is because he was poking me with pokey shots, like jabs, and but they had no real power compared to what I hit him with. And I know the angles weren't great on the shots that I landed. Look at that one.
Dang.
That's whatever I hit him with this one, that had to be the one that really damaged him up. I did land some devastating shots, and I broke Luke's face. I broke Eddie's face, and that's what boxing is. It's not just, it doesn't have to just be perfect, clean, dodge and touch and point, especially not in bare knuckle. I bring it, man. I bring the show. I'm kind of glad it went the way it went, because if it was just easy, because it was easy. I was having fun in there. So if it was just over right away, people would have been like, Eddie was washed. But Eddie came in at 39 years old, probably his best self ever. And he went up against the best Platinum Mike Perry. And I brought the pressure, and I know I had to take some shots, but that in a way was kind of my game plan, because I knew that if I just kept putting that pressure, I watched some breakdowns of my fights last night on YouTube, and it was Mighty Mouse, and he broke down the MVP fight, and he broke down maybe the Luke. I don't know. He broke down another one. I don't know. But it was really cool to watch those breakdowns from him, and he's seen what it was that I do successful, because I'm just no fear. He kept talking about how I just close that gap. I don't leave a gap open, and I'm not sitting on the outside trying to figure things out. I'm bringing it to you. I'm getting in your face, and that's going to demoralize 99% of competition. And with that being said, 99%, and it's all respect to the guy. I'm sure maybe you saw my tweet yesterday. I know that he's out too, and he did. People did remind me that he said, he doesn't do the bare knuckle because his hands are so torn up. Like I get it, but he also said, if he did it, it would be like a 1-of-1 because he might tear his hands up on my face for sure. And I have the utmost respect for Jorge Masvidal. That's kind of why that call out, that name has never happened. I did see him at his promotion at a fight, and we talked about I was a little bit drunk, and I was like, man, the people would really love to see us, dude. Like all love, and we make a bag for the family, and it's all just for the sport, and like I want. And obviously he's already done these great things, and that's where I grew up watching him and Kimbo and stuff on YouTube. So it's like I grew up and I seen him, and it's like obviously who's the only other person that's not in BKFC but has experience in bare knuckle boxing that would be a mega fight with all the stuff, all the light shining on me right now. I can, match his superstardom with this that I got going on right now. And that's why I called that one out. I know Pettis said he was interested. I mean, these are super interesting matchups, and I know it's going to be a little while. I mean, this is going to take like 6 weeks to heal. But, I'm just trying to get the wheels rolling here.
Yes, yeah, I know you covered like 10 different topics, and that was my first question, by the way, and we went all the way to what's next. So thank you for this is because you're such a great podcast host now. Like you know how it works. You're just kind of doing the job for me. Other than that finger, any serious injuries on the face?
No, man. These are the doctors were like, oh, these are just a little bit of flesh wounds. Like I didn't even have many stitches, and they put dissolving stitches in, so they didn't have to use like super strong stuff, and it was just like surface damage. And that's the difference, you know what I mean? It's like in boxing, the guy who is landing the more powerful, significant strikes, sometimes it can look one way, like one guy's pointing really good and he's sharp. How long can you keep that up? And then you got the other guy who is trying to land devastating shots, is willing to put himself in the fire in order to land. I said, with Helen Yee, I was like, I'm trying to put this thing inside of you, bro. I'm trying to penetrate you, bro. And his corner had to make a smart decision because we're talking life or death in that third round. We're talking life or death in that third round. He's got a smashed orbital bone, and they let him go back out, and I hit him again. That's very scary.
Yeah. No, thankfully they made the right call, and they pulled the plug. Did you notice that his face was busted up? Like, did you think that they were going to stop it going into the third? Because you seemed a little bit upset in the moment.
No, I was just standing there waiting. I was like, what's going on? What's taking so long? And then I saw his coach do that, and I was like, damn, again?
You wanted
2
more.
rounds?
You wanted more.
I did want more.
Yeah.
I wanted more.
That's kind of the gift and the curse of these. Like they happen speed of light, but it's a 4-minute fight in the end. And I feel like when you go to the back, even though you're, a little bit banged up, do you still feel like you need to get some stuff out of you? Like, do you go back and shadow box?
No, I guess my post-fight speech was, pretty adrenaline filled. I was only yelling, and then speaking of which, my son, I calmed the yelling down when I had him in my arms, and I've seen that some people might think some kind of way about that, but like, it's a family affair, and like I get to be able to bring my son. I was so happy and proud to be able to have my son up there, and that's something that he'll get to see later in life, and he'll really get to enjoy that. There's worse things happening to some kids out there. So
Yeah, it was hard. He was crying. Were you able to calm him down in the back? Like, does he understand? How old is he? He's like 4 or
dude,
something?
he's always crying,
Okay.
dude. He was just crying in the shower. And we're like, do you want to get out of the shower? And he's like, no. He just wants to sit in the shower and just cry and scream. And that's what he does, dude. He's just a big ball of emotions. And, you know, you give him some candy or like some chocolate, dude, he just starts crying,
Okay.
screaming. That's a baby. That's what a baby does, you know? And there was nowhere safer for him to be than in my arms. And, you know, I had him, you know what I mean? And he calmed down when I told him I loved him. And I loved that I got to see that. And I finally did it, man. I finally got a belt.
Look at that.
I finally got a belt. I finally brought my son. You know, my daughter was there and I didn't get to hold her up, but, you know, I mean, she probably would have liked it a little more than my son. She's a little wild girl. She's a wild thing.
I love it. I saw your post-fight press conference. It seemed like people were coming at you in the post-fight press conference, left and right. Like you were having to, duck and get out of the way of all these. That to me, like I get it to a degree, but I also feel like not the time or the place, right? I mean, like you just won.
Well,
Why is everyone trying? Like, there's a time and place for that. I don't think you should be fielding that type of stuff in a press conference.
these guys are hungry. They they don't want to listen to the noise that is, it is true that, you don't have enough attention to earn this opportunity right now, at least. And what I am grateful for is the actual possible best bare knuckle fighter on the planet did show me great love and respect after the fact. The juggernaut, Lorenzo Hunt, he was like, he told me some things that made me, I get it. Like he was like, man, my dad wouldn't have been happy with me with that performance. But at the same time, and I'm like, yeah, I get it, dude. But my coach was pissed that I was letting him get off on me when I didn't have to. But it is what it is. Like I bring it, dude. And I want to wear you down, even if my face is beating up your hands, and then my hands beat up your face. Like I love every part of it. So, and I'm grateful for it. That's why it's so intense, because I know what I'm getting myself into. And he also said, like, no, I'm the king of violence, and that was an amazing show, and he loved every moment of it. And I like the Juggernaut a lot. I respect him a lot, and I'm gonna work with him after this fight. I mean, he's trying to get that heavyweight title fight, so he would be the first triple champ of all time, because he had been the 185, he's the 205, or the whatever the next weight class is. I don't know if it's 195 or 205. I don't know. And then the heavyweight, he wants that heavyweight fight. Unfortunately, Big Ben and Todd Duffy didn't get to fight. Even Big Ben's calling. Big Ben Rothwell wants that BKFC belt. And, if I was going to fight for a BKFC belt, I would want it to be the 185 belt. I do like Jared Warren. He recently fought in England against the UK 185 champion. And he easily beat him, and I wrote him, and he was like, yeah, it was a lot easier than I expected it to be. Like I don't know if he said he got lucky or something. Like it just worked out for him. And I like that guy. He carries himself well. He's clean cut. He dresses in a suit, and we need to get him some attention, because he carries himself like a champion. And if I was going to unify something like this with that type of belt, that's the belt that I would want to go after, the 185. I thought I had a lot of power there. I have the power that the big guys have. And then when they're a little bigger than me, I have the movement that maybe Eddie Alvarez had. You know what I'm saying? So
did you see what just happened there? You did a thumbs up, and then the screen did a thumbs up emoji too. Did you see that? That was wild.
I did kind of see something flicker over there. I'm not sure what happened.
That was amazing. Try it again. Do a thumbs up. Do a thumbs up. Let's see. Come on. It just popped up like a bubble. It was amazing. I don't know. I don't know what just happened. Look at you. You're defying everything. Can I ask you a question? You ever sit back sometimes when you're in bed or, I don't know, driving and say, man, what would my life be if I was still in the UFC compared to what your life is like now? Like I said, like if anyone was ever born for something, I feel like you were born for this, what you are doing right now. It's amazing to see this hand fit perfectly in this glove. But do you ever think and say, like, what if this never materialized and I was just fighting in the UFC doing what I was doing before? Do you ever let your mind go there?
No, I do think one day that I could be such a draw. I know everyone was watching. I know there was a big uh, millions of people tuned into that. So, if I'm the draw or whatever, back in the day, now that's the difference, right? When the Fertitas owned it, these guys, Rampage, Chuck, Vandalay, Vitor, back and forth.
Right.
Different. They just wanted the biggest fights. That's what the world wanted. And it's so beautiful with bare knuckle. And I love it because I know how to do damage here that counts. You got to make it count. And that's the difference is Eddie was doing points and I was trying to hurt him bad. And I made it count, and he literally could not continue. So, I want these guys, and that's the thing too, is these guys they're like, fuck, I don't know. I don't want to go over there and do that. Damn right. You better be scared because if you come in here with me, this is my world. So I'd be happy to fight anyone over here in bare knuckle fighting. Dylan Dennis was calling me out.
Yeah, what'd you make of that?
I appreciate the attention that he could bring to it. I mean, to my belt that he brought, he's like, shit, I like the king of violence title and belt, that name, and he brought some attention to it because, so.
Do you think he actually wants to do it? Do you think he's sincere?
I don't know. I don't know. It's once an offer hits his table, and David Feldman's no joke. What'd he say to Conor? He's like, dude, I'll give you any amount of money you want. And probably same thing goes for a Masvidal and for maybe a little bit for a Dylan Dennis. Maybe not any amount of money you want, and I don't know because, Logan outboxing pretty good. I mean, he showed his toughness. Obviously, Dylan was tough because he got hit and he never stopped putting pressure and trying to come after him, but he didn't really, he wasn't able. I mean, he had the gloves on, so maybe it's a little different if it was bare knuckle. Would Logan been able to take the shots? I don't know, but if he is interested, if and then he would start talking that vulgar stuff to me and get billions of views on social media for people to talk about our fight and that the whole world would want to watch. I mean, I'm down for that. That's the thing. It's like, as the king of violence, it's so fitting, is it not, that it's me?
Oh yeah.
That I am.
It's perfect.
So fitting because I am a humble man. I'm a warrior. I love to battle. I can get gruesome and nasty, but at the same time, I'm a family man, and I'm just here for entertainment and the sport, and like I want to leave a great legacy, and if you're gonna get in there, why try to, not dive into all of it, both sides.
Yeah.
Offense and defense. Just getting hit, defending. I started slipping shots in the second. My coach got me thinking of, when we were talking, he's like, angle. He said, bring that up jab. Because I saw him, he was ducking my shots. And then I adjusted to that in the second and started making him duck right into my left uppercut or left up jab. And, just close the show.
So I think the Masvidal one is interesting, but he may have plans already, and I don't know, ultimately, as he has said regarding BK, I don't know if he ultimately signs up. I'm not sure about Pettis as well. I know he's fighting Karate Combat next week. So let's see what happens there. Can I offer you two names that you haven't mentioned that I think are actually potentially more realistic than those two, including Dylan Dennis? Because I'm not sure if Dylan wants to actually be a BK fighter. The first one is, you didn't mention him, but he's sort of flying out there, floating as a free agent with no ties to anyone, Nathan Diaz. What about Mike Perry versus Nathan Diaz? Maybe not in a BK fight, but in a boxing match. Is this of any interest to you?
Sure. Right?
Why'd you hesitate
Sure.
there? Why did you hesitate?
Because I want to fight bare knuckle.
Okay. All right. Fair enough.
I love it.
So,
I do love it. And at the same time, I'm still interested in to maybe put a boxing glove on and Nate boxed Jake and it didn't go his way. So a fight with me maybe definitely makes sense. I would love to fight a Nathan Diaz, but I think I win that. So the Masvidal fight is intriguing because he can hurt me bad, I think. And that's what gets me up in the morning. That's what makes me work. I want a guy, and it's hard too because a fight like Eddie Alvarez, a little bit I was underestimating him, and I knew he was going to be fast. That's what it was. Like, I was surprised my jab wasn't able to land like I thought it was going to. And then I was like, I expected this. In my head, I never said it out loud, but in my head, I was like, I'm not underestimating you. I know who you are. I know that you're going to bring it and you're going to be fast, and you better be on your fucking P's and Q's because I'm bringing it. And then that's the thing with me is I got Eddie up out of bed. He was like, I better work because Mike's not playing no games here. And, so that's one side of it is like, you can underestimate a guy and that makes them even more dangerous when they know that they need to be worried about you. And so, but we know Masvidal has some of the most killer moves out there.
Yeah.
Okay, that's why fair. I said that.
So the next one I was going to mention, but your answer for the first
Robbie
one,
Lawler.
Robbie Lawler would be nuts, but well, I wasn't going to say Robbie Lawler. I was going to say Jake Paul because you were about to fight his brother. But if you don't want to box, that one gets ruled out. You've just kind of been circling him for a long time, and
I mean, we could just because, look at the punches I can take without gloves. You think you're gonna hurt me with gloves on? No chance. But then, and the damage that I did without gloves, obviously a glove is going to reduce that damage that I'm able to give. But I think I still break him down. My pressure wears on people. I'm like, you see those 500-pound heavy bags hanging up in gyms?
Mm-hmm.
That's me. 500-pound heavy bag. I'm just walking you down, but I hit you back. You know what I'm saying? Like, and if you dodge, you can only dodge for so long, especially in bare knuckle, because like you can't dodge me all day because I'll just throw whatever to make sure something catches you and cuts you and hurts you. So obviously, but that's the thing, right? Is like I'm up top because these guys are afraid to do no gloves.
No.
They really are afraid. And I'm like, well, come test yourself. I mean, and it's good to be afraid. I'm not saying that's a bad thing. I want to be afraid when I'm about to fight because it's going to make me do even better. So, like, be a man. That's what I was saying. My first act as king is, men got to stand up. Like, grow some balls, dude. So I'm the guy. I'm the money fight. And it's because BKFC. It's because the show they put on. It's because the promotion they're doing. They're killing it with me. We're killing it together.
Yeah.
But if the biggest fight out there is a fight that just needs to get made with gloves on, of course I would do it.
No,
that would be
this is your lane.
Play date.
This is your lane. Darren Till has been talking a lot about you since Saturday, but again, he has also said that he doesn't want to do bare knuckle, right? So a lot of these options are getting ruled out.
Pussy. Cheeky puss.
Do you think you could convince him? That would be so great. That fight, that build up.
Wouldn't that be great?
That's the one. Oh my gosh.
He needs a, but even a guy like him, you know, I would want him to have like a tryout, a practice shot.
Nah, screw that.
Some guy to beat up.
Nah, let him jump right in. Why? So he goes in there and doesn't like it, and then we lose the. What would we? There's no. It's like a
what if he
5-year
goes
build-up.
in there? What if he goes? But I'm saying to go in there and have your first one. That's what. Like I was excited about Eddie because he had the experience in it. He fought a fast, beefy Chad Mendes, but Chad Mendes was a quitter. In that fight, he did break down, and he just didn't want that 6th round. I think they would have gave them a 6th round, but Chad didn't want it, so they gave it to Eddie. Chad was done. You know what I mean? So I want to, and I learned a lot from my first one, and I would want no excuses. I guess, I mean, if I go out and fight like I did on Saturday, I leave no excuses. You can't say Eddie Alvarez was old and washed up. He was smart. He was in prime of his life, 39 years old. And I say that because we've seen guys who I've always looked up to, Yoel Romero, Dan Henderson, 47 years old, Anderson Silva, 47 years old. These guys were prime at 47 years old, still slapping fools up.
Yeah. I'll throw one more your way. This one just came across my desk here from my colleague Shaheen. What about Paul Semtex Daly?
Yeah.
Could you imagine that left hand?
He retired a while ago. But
well, I'm trying to find guys who aren't contractually obligated to be fighting for other promotions, you know, free agents, so to speak.
Right. And I mean, does it necessarily have to work that way? Like none of these promotions can collab at all. If we're talking 50 million people, like who doesn't? I mean, they did it with Mayweather and McGregor at the UFC.
So what's the dream? What's the dream fight? If anyone would co-promote, you get to pick one guy right now. Dream fight, no restriction. Masvidal's a dream fight. All right.
If he believes, because you know, I think what he said about his hands was just a way of saying, you make that check big enough, and I'll strengthen my knuckles and go back to my roots. These are his roots. He is, in history, the original bare knuckle street fighter guy.
Yeah.
And he's a killer. We've seen him literally kill people in MMA, and it's not wrestling. You know what I mean? I'm not going to try to strategize a way through. And it's all out of respect. I like Masvidal. I would like to say that we're friends. I'm just trying to think of the biggest fight. And it's that one because we're both dangerous. And if not that one, the Darren Till one, I am trying to make that one.
Come on, Darren.
Trying to make
Come on, Darren.
No restrictions. If we got to meet in the middle on some things, we're working on that. There's talks being had behind closed doors for that one. And he's much bigger than I am, so I got to go back up. I got to put some weight on. Me and Eddie were getting stitches together. He was on his table, I was on mine. We were talking. You know, that's something I'll never forget. I'll never forget that.
What'd you say?
Sitting there talking. I asked him why didn't he come out? He said he thought maybe his orbital was broken. I said, oh man. I said, you know what? I didn't knock you down. Like I kept saying, you know, how many times you gonna get up? He didn't let me knock him down. He goes, you didn't? I don't know. He's like, I wouldn't even have known if you did. And what else did we talk about, man? I don't know. We were talking about some shit. But, he asked me, he said, how much did you weigh tonight? I weighed 184. with my shoes on. I only put on. I mean, I did get up to like 190 the day of weigh-ins, but sleeping, preparing the next day, I was with my stuff on. They set me on a scale right before I walked out. 184. I told Eddie, because he said that he expected me to be like 195. And I was like, dude, I dieted for over a month for this. My physique looked incredible. I was super proud of myself, which my manager hit me and was like, stay in shape, but not for a fight. So your boy might be a little bit of a star now. I might have something. I might be going to do something that I've always wanted, that we all want to do.
What's that?
I might be in a movie, man.
Damn. Which movie? Can you tell us about it?
I can't.
Okay,
I can't.
Fair enough.
I might already be in trouble for saying that.
Okay, don't say anything. Well, look, the world is your oyster now. And that's why I said, before I even knew any of this, setting up for a huge 2024. So very happy for you. Congratulations on the win. Congrats on everything that you were doing. It's been an incredible year. Fun to see you out there in Manchester. You and Idris Virgo going toe-to-toe. Maybe he's willing to come over to Bare Knuckle. Who knows? And proud to say that I'm going to be on your show over there. The Overdogs podcast.
That. Yeah, shout out to the Overdogs podcast, Kenpai Pandas.
Yeah.
We will have the one and only Ariel Helwani on there tomorrow. Stay tuned for that. Super happy to have him because he doesn't do other people's show. Only the king of violence.
Yes, that's right. That's what I said. I'll tell you off air my Venmo account where to send the money for the interview, because I do charge for my appearances. Thanks for doing this, Mike. Safe travels home, and I'll talk to you tomorrow. Congrats again.
Damn, I got to start charging.
Yeah, peace out. There he is.
All right, brother.
There he is, Mike Perry, kind enough to join us. Thanks for watching. We appreciate it very much. Hey, if you like this video, give us the old thumbs up. Subscribe as well. You can get many more of these videos on the channel, so please do that. We would love you forever if you did so.